So my name is Yasmin Ali. I am the founder and CEO of Skillspire. I don't usually, conduct the workshops, but this is my first time, and looking forward to connecting and talking to with all of you. Um, I would love to start by hearing from you. Um, just let me know your name. Are you new to tech? Do you know any coding? If yes, any language? And also, what's your, just as an icebreaker, what's your favorite cuisine and food? And I'll go first. I am not new to tech. I actually have a master's in computer science. I did work for about 10 years and then took a break for family where, I brought up my two kids. And during that time, I did a lot of volunteering work with the community, loved it. So then when I wanted to come back, I started this company where it was a marriage between community and tech to help a lot of folks that come from very different backgrounds. It can be quite intimidating to get into tech and to help them through this transition process. And it's been extremely rewarding, I should say. So I'll stop there. And who wants to go next? Razi?
Yeah, sure, I'll go. My name is Razi, and I'm a huge fan of Yasmin and her mission. Um, we had,
Thank you.
of course, we had a few good talks, and she decided that I would be a good fit to come on and give a good technical overview of today's topic, which is Java. So I am new to tech also, but I have gotten my hands dirty in this short amount of time. I've graduated from two coding boot camps and self-studied for 6 months on my own. So at an entry level position, I am fairly new, but I feel like I'm ready to go and I'm excited to be here.
What language, Razi?
That'll be Java specifically.
Asaf. And what's your favorite food or cuisine?
My favorite food, I would have to say pizza.
Nice. Okay. She or Carlos or Mariama?
Hey, this is she.
Yes. Hi, she.
I'm not considered new. I'm working on a bachelor degree right now in computer science. Uh, any coding. Yeah. A little bit of Java, a little bit of Python, and my school uses C++ mostly. Favorite
Awesome.
cuisine? Japanese sushi.
Me too. I love Japanese. I love sushi. I forgot to tell you what my favorite food is. Yes. Yeah. Carlos.
So I've had I don't know, is that my my background sound or is it somebody else?
No, it's somebody else. I
Okay,
can meet them.
that's fine. Uh, yeah, so I have some experience. I've early on got an associate's as a network specialist, and then I got my bachelor's in pretty much business management for computer science. Currently, I do my actual title is a network support specialist. But yeah, I've always kind of been sidetracked in my career because of the National Guard. I've always been offered full time positions, so I still consider myself entry level, even though I've been in this on and off about 4 to 5 years now. And but I've always had an interest in coding. Every time it comes time to use Linux or something like for our switches and whatnot, that's where I'm kind of always it draws my attention just a little bit more. And I know there's like a whole nother, you know, world out there when it comes to coding. So kind of want to get a little bit more into it past the curious level. Favorite food is probably salmon. I could eat poke bowls all day.
Nice, nice. Are you a veteran, Carlos?
Yes, I am.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Mariama. Mariama, would you like to introduce yourself? I actually know Mariama because she's already taken a course with us before. Okay, we'll come back to her. Deliara, hi there.
Yes, hi, hello. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes. Can you share? Can you see the screen? Just
It
a
works.
very quick introduction.
Sure. I live in Kirkland. My name is Duliara. My intersection is in humanities. I've been working in history, Middle Eastern history, and political science, that kind of thing. But I'm interested in, computer analysis to work on historical documents. So it's kind of unconventional, but I see how I can combine the two fields.
Do you know any coding language?
No, I'm completely new to this. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And your favorite food, Deliara?
Favorite food? I don't know. I like all kinds of cuisines. I like to try new food. I like Middle Eastern food too. So anything that's that's nice. Yeah,
Nice, nice.
thank
Very
you.
nice. Deliara, I think we know each other a little bit, right? We've talked before. So very
Yes,
nice
yeah.
to see you again today.
Nice to see you. Yes, thank you.
Nadia. Hi, Nadia. Would love to hear from you if you're still there. Mariama, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh yes, hi. Sorry, I had a noisy background. Um, so my name is Mariama, and as Yasmin told before, that I took the Introduction to Data Analytics course with her in 2020. And since then, I'm new in tech too. And since then, I started, taking some courses like AWS practitioner, and I'm still working to get the solution architect, which is actually it's kind of hard. And I'm looking to pursue in this path, if Allah wills. So.
Okay. Do you know any coding language?
No, I don't know any. That's why I wanna, learn some coding language that is related to something can help me in cloud computing.
Awesome. And what's your favorite food?
I love all kinds of food, but especially Mexican food. I love spicy food, so
Very
I love
nice.
Mexican food. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nadia? Nadia, you available to introduce yourself? Yeah, please go ahead. Okay, we'll come back to Nadia again. Anthony, glad to see you here.
Hi, yeah,
Introductions.
I'm a college student over in the Bay Area. So
Okay,
I guess I am new to tech since I'm still learning.
okay.
I know a few programming languages, just the introduction though. I'm not really advanced in any of them. And as far as my favorite food, I'd say pizza is good.
Wow, we have two pizzas here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Jacob. Good morning. Love to, know a little bit about you before we go further.
Sure. Yeah, I work as a data analyst at a tech company. Kind of got the CCP and been a bit more focused on cloud and IAC. I work with Python a fair amount, and yeah, kind of interested in continuing to just get more familiar with cloud environments. I've worked in Azure and AWS in some capacity. but more as a consumer. And then Java seems like a thing that would be handy to learn. And favorite food, that is tough. I don't know. I've had a lot of Indian food lately. That's
Indian food?
yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm actually Indian, so people love Indian food.
Yeah.
Okay, great, great. Thank you. And where are you located, Jacob?
Sorry, what was the last question?
Where are you located?
Oh, I'm in Seattle.
Oh, you're in Seattle. Okay, so as we're going through, please do drop your emails on the chat so that's the only way that we can keep in touch with you. So if we want to follow up, provide you with information or any prerequisites, that's the only way that we can communicate. So do leave your email on the chat. Nadia, just one more try with you. Are you available to introduce yourself?
She just said that she's talking, but she can't be heard.
Oh, okay. So she's having technical difficulties. Okay. Well, we'll let you, figure that out. Would love to, hear you once here. Um, okay, I'll go ahead and get started. I did introduce myself. I'm actually the CEO and the founder of Skillspire. I come from a tech background. I did my master's in computer science, worked for about 10 years, and then took a break for my family and then came back. During the time when I took a break, actually, I volunteered in the community a lot, and that became my passion of, helping people from very diverse backgrounds get into tech. And the path can be quite intimidating. I don't know whether you guys agree with me, would love to hear your thoughts. Even for people who are there, it's a constant learning process. And so I want to bridge that gap that exists. And that's why I started Skillspire. And we've been in operation since 2016 and graduated close to 300 plus students. And I would say we're a small sort of coding boot camp out of Bellevue, Washington, and we've been making our footprint here in the Washington state area, and growing, all over the country. So with that, let's get started. Um, why Java? As you all mentioned, Java has been around for a very, very long time. It's a very versatile language. It's a back-end programming language typically, and it's one of the primary languages for a lot of mobile applications like Android, and in Android, and it is a higher entry barrier, I would say, but I think once you get in, it's extremely rewarding in terms of security, in terms of job opportunities, in terms of pay. It's very, very, very rewarding. It is a steeper learning curve. And so the way we've set up, and I'll talk about this a little bit in about, when I get into our course, um, as if you've done object-oriented programming, you would know that it's a little confusing, right? I mean, I know that you mentioned that you do C++. So you know that when you get into the object-oriented programming concepts, it could get a little confusing. So Java is like that, but it has a very structured approach. And if you have a good instructor, and I have to just emphasize on that, if you have a good instructor, you can actually learn it very easily. And there are lots of industries, a lot of companies that continue to use Java, and there are lots of job openings. And the way we have set up our program, we've also tagged on the cloud computing aspect of it on top of the Java, which makes it very attractive. It's definitely in demand. So, I think we touched on this a little bit. Java, has been around for a very long time, so it has a solid community. You can find pretty much everything online. You can absolutely go do this on your own. But, when it is taught by an instructor and is very structured approach, it just makes it much more easier. I have a lot of people who actually come to me saying that, hey, I've done some initial programming, I've watched this YouTube, I've done Udemy, Udacity, but I really am not getting a good grasp of the entire thing. And that's when they come to us saying that, I need an instructor-led course. And, how do you guys approach things is when they come to us. Um, and the pay, definitely, that's one of the biggest things that people ask. It depends on your experience. I mean, if you're getting into an entry level, you cannot expect, say, 100K, right? Um, so I would say that you would keep working on, say, projects. It depends on whether you've had any other background, any other programming experience, just like anything else. If you had any other coding language background, anything, I think it makes it a little bit more easier to get into, Java or anything else for that matter. If you know one programming language, it's more of the syntax or the thing that differs. And so it is easier to work. And also, Java is probably very, depending on the geographic locations. I know that I heard at least two people from California. I'm sure it's used a lot. And even here, even though Seattle is Microsoft country, um, most companies are going towards more language agnostic, when they are hiring people, so which makes it very convenient. It's always been in demand. And, if you can see here that the average salaries, on Indeed, is 106 for a Java developer, Android developer is 121, backend developer 117. This is all an average. This is not the entry level. So keep in mind over there. So there are lots of options that you can actually go into, right? When you typically Java is a backend. So I do want to touch a little bit on the course structure itself. So the course structure that what we have is we start with the basics of Java, get into advanced concepts of Java, then do Spring Boot framework and microservices, and then getting into cloud computing. So this is the structure that we are doing right now. And the reason that we used to teach Java FX before, and quickly realized that the industry is actually moving more towards Spring Boot. And uh, I can tell you personally that I do receive a lot of companies asking me that, do you have Java developers, especially in Spring Boot? And so that's what we've been focusing on lately. So you could go in as a Java developer. People also go get into more data analytics route as well, software engineer, backend web developer, and a lot of, several options. I'll stop here and ask if there are any questions. And I'm going through this very fast because I don't want to be the only person talking. I do want this to be a conversation, so that please ask me questions. No questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Like for the course, it's gonna be introduction and advanced course, or just like one course?
It is one course.
One course, okay.
One course that takes you from A to, I wouldn't say A to Z. I think it takes you mid-level to an intermediate level. And then from there on, the projects that you build is how you're going to get that experience. And we'll talk about internship. We do provide an internship as well. So we'll talk about that.
Okay. And how long it's going to be the course, like the length of the course, like how many months?
The course is 20 weeks, which is 5 months.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
And
Hi, yeah, I had a question as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wanted to ask how many projects we would likely work on through the course.
So there will be one capstone project that you would work on.
Oh,
And
okay.
then there would be several assignments that you would continue to work on, the smaller concepts of things that you keep learning.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Yeah, I see a question here. 20 months, 5 weeks. Yes. Yeah.
I have a question, I guess, more of a
Sure, go
comment.
ahead, please.
So I'm looking at this list right here, and it's quite a big list that you had on the previous slide. Are in 5 months, is it supposed to cover or hit each one of those sections here and there, or is it going to be focused just on Java in general? And this is just a list of everything that it could be applied to.
Are you looking at this slide
Yeah.
right here? These are the jobs that you could be applying for once
Okay.
you finish the course. Yeah, this is not what's covered in the class in the
All right, just want to
course.
make sure because I kind of like looked into it a little bit, and like backend web developer is it, I would say, completely different from data analysis as far as like what the
Yeah,
job
it
scope is.
is.
Yeah.
A lot of things is interrelated, but yes, it is very different. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
So moving on, how are we different? You know, so one of the biggest things that we've been focusing on is it's not enough to just train our students. They do need experience. And a lot of the companies are definitely asking for that experience from our students. So we've been working on this for a very, very long time. And I'm really happy to say that from January of this year, we have actually partnered with a company here locally in Seattle to provide that internship for you. And the internship is anywhere from 3 to 6 months. And it depends on how many months you want to do it. It is remote. You could do it you could do it online from wherever you are. And I will, show. I do want to share the internship details, just so you understand what is being handled in the internship. So step one, when you go in, this internship is actually um, run by a person who works at Microsoft. He is the senior software engineering manager there. And he has a company in the side, and he develops a lot of enterprise level applications for different companies. And we have partnered, Skillspire has partnered with PureSoft to provide this internship for our students. It is an unpaid internship. Um, it can be done part-time or full-time. It depends on your availability. So in the internship, they definitely go over a lot of GitHub, which is probably one of the basic things that you would know. You have to know if you are a software developer. So they do go over, a lot of GitHub things. How do you retrieve things from the repository? How do you save? How do you sync? And these kinds of things. And the other thing that it was quite surprising that he mentioned is the communication skills. Since he works with a lot of teams, he did mention that being responsive, being able to communicate on time in an effective manner and in a very succinct way is very, very important. And guiding these students and mentoring the students, the interns, I should say, through to do these communication skills, sometimes which is taken for very much for granted, but most of the time you're going to be working in a team is extremely important. I mean, here he says that if, say, for instance, I send you an email and being responsive, within 24 to 28 hours to hear, to get feedback from people is extremely important. And always being on time and showing up and just being present. And if you're not able to make it, just letting them know. These are very ordinary things that normally you would think that, why would you want to mentor somebody on things? But you would be very surprised how people drop the ball sometimes. They may have some emergencies that come up, they just don't show up, and it just paints a very bad impression. Then they get into the advanced skills of the whole SDLC. SDLC is the software development lifecycle. How do you go about, the requirements gathering phase, the design and the architecture, and then getting into the development and then development operations, the support and monitoring, and testing, and the productization. So this is just to give you an idea of the internship that we provide to you after you finish our training. Any questions here?
You mentioned part-time. How flexible is that schedule? Is it, I imagine it's typically like, 9 to 5 or somewhere within that
No,
range.
not necessarily. I think this thing it's up to you how many hours a week you want to put into this thing. So the way this and Razi can give a little bit of information on this. I think he started the thing and then he got busy with some other thing, some other work. But it's a platform that's completely automated where you go choose the projects that you want to work on um, and then put in go ahead and just do the work. Razi, can you add something to that?
Yes, me and Hassan, we meet up 2 nights a week. He gives me a brief overview of the task he wants me to handle, and he walks me through it at first, and then he gives me a couple things to walk away with and handle on my own before we meet up again. So it's not very time consuming. I'm assuming I'm on the part-time basis, so it takes about maybe 45 minutes each meeting, and then it's basically completely up to you on how do you handle your own task that he gives you.
So it's set up such that you kind of decide how many hours you put in. You can go full time and completely plow through and do really, really well. Where you'll get ahead very fast, even within Peersoft. But you could do it part time as well. So it all depends on how much time you put in.
Okay, thank you.
So just to go over the course itself is Java and Cloud Computing with AWS, and the length it's 20 weeks with 6 hours per week, typically Wednesday evenings and Saturday mornings. Wednesday evenings from 5 to 8 or 6 to 9, or and Saturday mornings from 9 to 12. Typically, our instructors are all working in the industry, and they've been doing this, and they are very, I would say they're an expert in this thing. And it's 100% live instruction. So it is not recorded. You can absolutely ask questions when you're stuck, and there are no pre-recorded videos. But I'm sure life happens, and if if you have to miss something, all the sessions are recorded. You can go back and watch the recordings. Um, any questions here? Okay, moving on. And this is the internship program that I was telling you about. As you know, every company that you would go interview for would typically ask you how many years of experience. And when you're coming out of college or you're coming out of a boot camp, you don't have that experience. So that's why we have created this guaranteed internship program for all our students. And this actually um, will definitely count towards your experience in that you can add onto your resume. Hassan is, I would say, is very, very the more the thing that he works up I would say uh, what he says is you put in 50% of the work and I give you 50%, and that's how we make it happen. So it's definitely a lot from you, which is 50%. You have to put in your effort, and then Hassan will come in and help you and mentor you throughout. So this is some of our students. It's very new, actually. We just started we're about 3 months in, but we've definitely received a lot of positive response from our students, and they're enjoying it and learning a lot, is what I hear. And when you come into this program also, now you're working with somebody directly who works who works directly in a company, right, like Microsoft, and he has a team of people within Peersoft. So you'll be working with different people as well, and you would definitely get a personal recommendation from him too. So one of the other things also that we do at Skillspire is, well, as you're going through your course, halfway through, we come in, take a look at your resume, which you would have to provide to us. Take a look at your resume, make changes so that it meets the industry standards. Every company wants, slightly different resumes. So we kind of help you polish your resume there, help you with your LinkedIn profile, interview skills, and mentor you throughout. How we've had people come in and ask us, hey, I have an interview for, say, they would have done data analytics, but then here it's more on the supply chain management side. Do you think I should go for this? We say absolutely. Any interviews that you go through would be fantastic practice. Number one, I mean, that's probably the least of the thing. And number two, once you get into a company in any role, then to go and tell them or convince them or prove to them that, hey, you have these other skills is much easier. So we would say that, even if you start off at a very lower level, in tech, it's what's very amazing is, within 6 months, people are doubling their salary, and within a year, they just keep jumping. So wherever you are, so those kinds of things, different questions that students actually have, and they come and ask our team. And Terry, in our team, is very quick to respond, and also help students out. And as and when we get requirements for any job openings, we keep sharing it with our students. This is a question that a lot of people ask, and I know that we do have a couple of people from the university. You can definitely chime in. I would love to hear. Uh, one of the biggest things, not everyone can go through a university. It's definitely time consuming and it's very expensive, right? I mean, we work with a lot of students. Sorry, that's my son. He's actually in a university in Chicago, so it's our time to talk, and so he's just calling me. Uh, so I know personally how expensive it is because we're paying for our son right now. And there are a lot of students also who come with prior degrees from different countries. A lot of our population are immigrants, and they have a degree in say economics or accounting or finance, and they've done a 3-year degree. For them to ask them to go through another degree for 4 years is just not feasible, right? There's financial barriers, there are time barriers, and they don't want to wait for 4 years. I mean, they want to hit the ground running. So a coding boot camp like this, where you're, getting the practical training that you need anywhere from 3 months to 5 months to 6 months is very, very helpful. And then now that we've tagged on the internship part, it makes it, very easy to transition. And also, um, when you're in a college, you are definitely required to take a lot of other courses like, English and literature and psychology and, a lot of different things that, a lot of people don't like to do. And, they just want to focus on something. Yes, I completely agree. I went through this thing, that it definitely gives you a very rounded, curriculum. It's there, but, it may not be the best solution for everyone. So, is it Anthony that's in college right now?
Yeah, I'm in college.
Yeah, yeah. So you tell me, Anthony. I mean, if you were to do over again, and you're in your second year, right?
Yeah, I'm in my third year.
Third year. Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say is the big difference?
Between what university and what?
Oh, she is also, yes. Yeah, I mean, uh, as against, the reason. Tell me one of the reasons why even you're even attending this call here. Um,
Oh
because
yeah. I mean, with university, I feel like it's a little broad and general. I think boot camps would be interesting because they'll be a bit more focused and, as you mentioned, a bit more hands-on with projects. Personally, I'm trying to be an app developer, and they really only offer one app development course specifically at my college. So again, it's just very general and broad, and I think boot camp would be a little more focused.
what are your thoughts, she? Oh, go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, the thing that's kind of you can see it repetitious when applying for IT jobs and stuff like that is they, no matter what, they want some kind of certificate or whatnot. So, and I'm talking from experience, like with having a bachelor's degree and applying for IT jobs, it's like it's not enough to just have the degree. They still want like a certificate or experience, showing that you have hands-on training with whether it's coding or uh, an A plus or uh, security plus. So it almost seems almost a little redundant to do the university and then go this path. So I mean, if I could have done it all over again, I probably would have just gone straight for all the certs.
She, what are your thoughts? Yeah, so you're an international student and you're here to learn about cloud computing. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there are lots of international students who come here. That's one way to come into the country as well. So I completely understand that. Um, but for a lot of people who are here, I think, you do have to make a choice, whether you want to, want a degree. And also, it's almost as if, I think companies have just made it as a priority that they have to have a 4-year degree. But I'm very, very happy to say that, now we're actually seeing more skill-based hiring. The trend is actually changing. It still, there are definitely, I would say it's very small right now, but definitely the trend is changing. Do you guys agree with me or not agree with me? I would love to hear your thoughts.
I would agree 100%. I know in my job search, it's definitely way more beneficial to be targeted towards exactly one area. It gets the job done quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, I know that the big companies are coming out and saying that, they don't want to, um, they are getting away from 4-year degrees, but still they do want you to have, good skills and good experience, which is something that, we have to build, right? I mean, I'm not here sitting here, I would never say that, hey, you finish our program for 5 months and right out the door, you're going to get a job, making, 100K. No, I mean, that's a false promise. I would never do that. And that's why I say that, we'll place you in this internship and then slowly work you up to a place where you're comfortable and you're confident to go interview. And that's when you would start off with, say, 70K as an entry level, which is, we've seen our students definitely join at 70K. And then in a year or 6 months, they've actually, gone up 90, 100 to the six figures. So yeah, that's how the progression has been for our students. Yeah, I did see Nadia saying that they become more focused of what they want to be accomplished. Yes. So, one of the biggest differences, I mean, I'm sure all of you must have looked at other boot camps. I would say that, of course, we would love for you to come join our boot camp. And the biggest difference I would say is the personal attention. You know, I personally talk to every single student. I know that's not very scalable, but then I enjoy that part of it. I love to understand the background that the students come from and then kind of mentor them to what courses that they would best be suited for. We do offer different courses, right? I mean, we do full stack web development in Python, in JavaScript. We do data analytics, we do cybersecurity, we do Java and cloud computing and software engineering, and also C Sharp and Azure Cloud. And one of our biggest new course that we're very, very excited to offer is the mobile app development. iOS mobile app development will be offering in May. It's actually taught by an engineer who's been working at Walt Disney for a very long time. She's extremely smart, and we're really, really excited about that course as well. So, and also we're very, very mission focused. You know, we understand. I understand. You know, even though I went through the 4-year degree and then the 2-year degree master's, when I took a break and came back looking for a job, it was extremely hard. It was very, very intimidating. I mean, here I am with almost a 10-year break, and then I come back. It was like as if I was starting from scratch. You know, I had to, um, it felt as if I didn't know anything. Things had changed. And, you know, the IT industry, I'm sure you all, you know, would agree with me, is constantly changing. And every engineer has to be constantly learning. And that 10-year gap really put me back. And when I had to come back, it was very hard. And so I understand that feeling, and I understand, um, you know, when you come here to this country, you know, from a different country, how hard it is to navigate the space, you know, talk the same language. So understanding those perspectives, we have tailored our program to kind of help our students go through our program, not just with technical skills, but also with our mentorship program, our internship program, and the job search support. And I think that's what makes it very unique. Um, if you have any questions, and our class sizes, I would say, is also very small. You know, and with an instructor and with a TA, we tend to keep it under 10 students, so that you get that, personalized attention and, you know, um, experience, I should say. Any questions here? And last but not the least, if you compare our program, our tuition, to any other coding bootcamp out there, it's probably 1/3 of the cost. You know, our courses go from anywhere from $3,500 to $6,000. And if you look at other coding bootcamps, they're more along, I think 10,000 plus or 15,000 plus. And trust me, the content that we're covering is pretty much identical, or if not better, because we're all constantly updating our curriculum. In fact, we've had some of our instructors have actually come from these other coding boot camps, and you know, they have made the curriculum much better. Like for instance, in our full stack web development course, there are lots of boot camps that do, in 3 months, they do 3 different stacks. We take one stack for the entire 4 months, although we do it part-time and go in depth. And the reason being is, you know, once you pick up one language, it's easier to, you know, go on and do another language by yourself, or you come back and take another one with us. Any questions here? So there are most people, I would say 90% are working full time. So you don't have to quit your job. All of our courses are offered in the evenings and weekends, one weekend, that you know, you don't have to quit your job and do the transition. So it is part-time, and it is designed for the working professional. And if you need, you know, if you miss a class, you can definitely, you know, watch the recordings and you know, and catch up. And if you do need help outside of class, the instructor or the TA is available to help you with any questions. So how do you know that Java is for me? How do I know? Well, I think most of you, I would say, have some sort of background in coding. So and you know that Java is something that's very, very hot in the industry. And so that's why you're trying to get into Java. Am I right? Just say a yay or a nay, or even a thumbs up. Okay, got it. So just like anything else, right? I mean, you have to test the waters. I mean, even before you decided that, you want to get into tech or coding, you had to um, do some free courses. And I would completely encourage you to do that. Go onto YouTube. There are plenty of free courses there. Udemy, which is very cheap. Try some of the courses. I mean, even with our Java course, if you enroll with us, we're going to provide you with a prerequisite that you have to take. Because we're jumping into Spring Boot framework, the way we've organized our courses will provide you with a prerequisite course that would take you about a week or maybe a week and a half, maximum of 2 weeks, so that you can actually do that prerequisite and then come into our course. So, and the prerequisite is very simple, like, just the variables, the data types, just a very, very basics of any programming language that you would have to know. So that, when you come into our program, we're just going to jump into more like the loops and the arrays and, a little bit more of, the advanced topics. So I would say that, you should definitely test the waters with the free courses out there. And of course, I don't have to tell you that, you have to, if you want to get into a job that pays you 100K, you got to work for it. Nothing comes easy. Nothing's going to be handed to us in a silver platter. We have to work hard at it. And of course, what you learn is an investment in yourself, and it's, never going to be. And if you feel that, this is the thing that you want to go, then you come to us and we help you from there on. Questions? Please tell me, did I go a little faster than than you anticipated, or did I answer most of the questions? I would love to. I mean, this is my first time doing this workshop, so I would love to hear from you. It's as if I'm just talking to you. So if I did go very fast, please stop me and just ask me questions right now.
You mentioned prerequisite courses. Do you have some recommended ones?
Yeah, and it's actually some free courses outside and that we have added to our curriculum, and we would just encourage you to go take that course. So if you're interested, the course actually, the tentative date for the course is actually April 18th. So I would recommend that you start now. I mean, wouldn't wait too long to enroll in the program so that you can do the prerequisite course. Miriam is asking me how much is the course. It's $4,999, $49.99 for the entire 20-week course.
And that's if you pay up front, right?
You can pay up front, or you get a discount when you pay up front. If you do monthly payment options, it's $500 more, but you can pay that over 5 months. So it'd be $5,500 that would be paid over 5 months. Cloud computing focuses on AWS. I know I didn't touch on that very much, but this AWS is what Amazon Web Services is what we do with Java. We do offer another course, software engineering course, which is C# with Azure Cloud. So you definitely have a choice.
Is there a focus of like using a platform as a service, so like AWS Cloud9 versus like the SDK, or is it a mix of it when working with Java in this program?
You know, Jacob, to be completely honest, I don't have that detail, but I could definitely get back to you on that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, please do drop in your email so that you know, I can get back to you. So what exactly is the question, Jacob, that you wanted to know?
Yeah, I was just curious if as how you're using Java to interact with AWS. The kind of some of the ways I'm aware of is using you know, platform as a service like Cloud9 and for AWS, where you're just coding in that and then it's taking care of all the infrastructure for you, or if it's like using SDKs in a you know, in the application. I'm not very aware of that part, but I know that's a way to do it.
Razi, do you have any insight into that?
I haven't taken your Java course, so I'm not sure how he's teaching it.
Okay. Okay, I can check that. Jacob, just please do leave your email so I can get back to you on that. Any other questions? Diliara, Nadia, you guys have
No.
been quiet.
Sorry. No question.
So, Diliara, I know you come from a completely humanities background. Are you looking for Java, or you're looking to go the full stack web development route?
I have no idea like what's the difference. So I'm still like exploring what I should be going into, because I'm interested in like I guess analysis, computer analysis of historical documents. Let's go.
Yeah, I know you have kids over there in the background, but no worries.
He's talking while asking questions. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm pretty much interested in how in using computer languages to analyze historical documents, transcribing them. So I've been working with Ottoman documents into transliterating them into Latin script. And so I've used software that's already developed, but I'm thinking that if I could possibly learn more languages, that would make it easier for me to understand how that happens.
So in your I guess preliminary search, is there a particular language that you want to focus on? I mean, are you seeing that, you know, this is when you're analyzing historical documents, I think this language would be the best one for you. Are you seeing anything like that?
I'm not really sure, because I already use a software. It's called Transcribus. It's been developed in Europe, and scholars it's new to scholarship, so scholars have been using that. But I feel like it's very limited. I've tried using it. It's very clunky and slow. So I don't know. Maybe if I can learn more languages, I could possibly contribute in some ways of, you know, developing that software in a better way.
It's very interesting. I mean, it's amazing.
So I don't want to go into like as you said, like doing college courses will take me a long time, because I already been in school for like most of my life. I have a PhD in Arabic and Islamic studies, and there's no it doesn't make sense for me to like do computer science. So like if there's a workshop like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. At the end of the course, do you obtain any Java certifications? Um, we are a licensed, you know, licensed school in the state of Washington, so our certification. But other than that, if you are some industry certifications, if you're about, you know, if you're talking about that, we don't provide that. You can absolutely go ahead and take it. If you finish our course, we do provide the certification. Carlos, does that answer your question? Yeah. Any other question? Nadia. So, Razi, I'll let you take over from here, and then I can come back and answer questions more. So what do you have prepared for us?
Okay, great, Yasmin. Thank you. Today I have prepared a brief explanation of how we can make money with Java. Just a second, please. Okay, here we go. Can we see my screen? Can we see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Yasmin already covered basically the overview of Java. So now you want to better understand of how are you going to utilize Java out on the enterprise level. And more than likely, when you come out of this boot camp, you're going to have Java on your resume, and people are going to be blowing up your phone asking for microservice experience. So before we get into that, I'd just like to introduce myself a little bit further. My name is Razi Williams. I am a growing developer, but like I said, initially, I have gotten my hands dirty in web development. I've graduated from 2 coding boot camps, and I spent a lot of time on the computer self-studying and trying to stay relevant and up to date on what's going on in today's technology society. So why microservices is so important is because it breaks a large application down into different smaller parts, which makes it way easier to identify where problems occur. Because if you're working on a large code base, literally anything down to a curly brace can just make your day that much harder. So when you're breaking your application down into smaller pieces, it makes it way more manageable for the entire team. So we all remember this slide, correct? I'm pretty sure we all do. This is what we're here for. If you pay attention to any of these starting salaries, it's amazing. And honestly, the microservice architecture is such a simple way to reach these starting salaries or these average salaries here. It's not enough to just know the core Java. What they're going to be calling and asking for is how are you going to be applying Java with a number of other services to make the enterprise level application run as smooth as possible. So now let's take a look at the numbers here. We have a handful of other architectures, which year by year, the numbers are increasingly growing in difference. Application architecture is one of the most determinant factors for which technologies developers use during development. And as you can see here, microservices is just kicking butt right now. It's over half the industry standard. So you're probably asking or thinking, what exactly is a microservice? So when we break our application down into smaller parts, essentially what we're doing is making the application run smoother, even if a certain area were to fall down. So if you see here, we'll take an inventory service, for example. If this inventory service was to go down, it would only affect the inventory database, and the rest of the application would be up and running and available to the users. And that's one of the biggest pluses when writing Java and getting into microservices is that your application has a higher usability rate due to the fact that certain simple issues will not disrupt your entire code base. So I decided to set aside some time to show you guys what a microservice might look like on your end, I did a couple projects on my own. So maybe you guys can take a look at this, just to give you something to walk away with. Because in IT, it's all about pulling on to the next string. So my last boot camp, me and my team, we developed something that we called the Depth Project. And the Depth Project was my idea personally. It's centered around mental health. And that's neither here or there right now. But what I wanted to get at was, if you take a look at all these annotations here, these are basically the backbone of your microservices. Each annotation brings a different element to your application where you're reaching from the back end service to your client end and getting, retrieving, and sending information using different various methods and different annotations. As you can see here, this auto-wired annotation brings in certain variables from other classes. And that's a whole nother string that we're going to pull on, but I just wanted to show you guys what it may look like. And if you take a look, maybe take a couple notes, maybe you guys can pull on this string a little further on your own. But I thought it would be really cool for you guys to actually see what may be going on. I'm open to take a couple of questions here, but I don't want to spend too much time. Okay. And that's what I have for today's demo. I have resources, and I'd like to thank you guys for your time and showing up. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you.
Thank you, Razi. Any questions? I don't believe we have your email address. So if we want to send you, say, maybe the syllabus or something, we would love to have your email. Any other questions? So coming out of this thing, did you get a better idea of, what the course entails and what are you feeling? I'd love to hear some thoughts from everyone. Do you feel like this is for you? What is the working industry IDE for Java? Razi, I think that's a question for you. Okay, Eclipse or IntelliJ. Can everyone hear me? It seems like I'm the only one who's speaking here. Okay. It's just, I keep talking and I'm looking at the screen and people are chatting over there. It's kind of weird. So, but any questions? And how do you feel? Have you learned a little bit more about what the course entails, and has it piqued your interest? I know Carlos is typing something. Carlos, looks like you're at a game somewhere. Okay, question of commuting to the cost now. Yeah, yeah. You know, if you, I would say that, um, you know, if you are already working in a company, you should definitely talk to your company about upskilling and whether they have any training budget. A lot of companies do have training budgets, so you should definitely talk to them to find out if they would pay at least partially for the course. I'm seeing a message. Yeah. Anything else? Well, I'll leave my phone number here and my email. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Um, I don't want to take, I know it's a Saturday and I don't want to take too much of your time. My name is, again, it's Yasmin. My email is yasmin@skillspire.net. And my phone number is 425-549-3453, which I'm putting it on the chat. If you have any questions, please feel free to text, email, or call me directly. If Oh, Nadia has a question. How comfortable does somebody who have no idea about IT will be to take Java? To tell you the truth, Nadia, if you don't know any coding and this is your absolute new course, I would say starting off with a full stack web development course might be a much better idea for you. It's a little bit easier starting with HTML, which is a very easy language, and CSS, and then getting into JavaScript. That would be a better. And then once you kind of get comfortable with that, with a little bit more of that software web development side, then getting into Java would be the next step. I think that would probably be HTML. Yes. I would say that, if you're an absolute brand new to IT, I would go that route. I think to start off, I think Java can be a little bit more, harder. Would you agree with that, Razi? I mean, I'm saying that, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I would have to disagree to a point, to an extent. You're right. It would make sense for her to take that full stack MERN course as far as difficulty. But if you want to think about it in a different way, Java is a strongly typed language. So what that does is it forces you to be a better developer. It forces you to pay attention more. And starting out, that's what you want to do. You want to pay attention to every little detail. That will teach you how to be a better programmer, and you could take that anywhere.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think you're probably right. But what I've seen is people who are completely brand new to tech. I think starting from the basics like HTML, they found it a little bit more easier than diving into Java. I mean, you know, this is just my experience working with students, but every student is different. If they know that this is what they want to get into and, they've done fantastic. So it just depends on the student and how much time you have as well.
Well, I consider myself a real go-getter, so I honestly wouldn't tell anybody to do HTML or CSS. You need to pick a language that's going to get the job done. HTML and CSS, you can pick it up on your own time watching YouTube on a Saturday.
Right. No, but the full stack web development is not just HTML. So that's just a week of HTML, CSS, and then it gets into JavaScript, which is, a slightly easier language to pick up. So.
Exactly. JavaScript is great.
Any other questions? Carlos is saying, I have a degree in business management, looking for a path to follow. Carlos, I would also look at data analytics.
I don't think that was me that typed that.
I would definitely look at data analytics because, if you're coming from the business side, if that's your domain expertise, I think, data analytics might be another route to go, take a look at as well. Oh, sorry, it's Nadia who says that she has a degree in business management. I apologize. Yeah, if you are, um, yes. So yeah, I mean, if it's business management and you don't have any coding or you don't want to get into coding, a lot of people do come back and say that, hey, I don't want to, I'd rather do, data side, and they like data. Data analytics is definitely, you do learn coding. I mean, like you would learn SQL programming, you learn Python because that's the language that is Nadia, we can talk about data analytics. I can give you a call right after the thing and talk about this. I don't want to, sidetrack this conversation. We can definitely talk about it. Sure. If nobody has any questions, I guess, we'll give some time back to you for your weekend and, hope to hear from you all. And we'll follow up with you next week, starting Monday. Thank you, Diliara. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Razi.
Do you have a moment, Yasmin?
Sure. And Nadia, I'll call you back after this thing. So let me see here. Have a great weekend. Okay. Razi? Razi, you still there?
Hello?
Yes. Hi, Razi.
Hey, sorry about that.
Yeah.
So, how was that? Did I step on your toes at all? Did I play my part?
No. I think I think it was great. What you did. I think it was short and sweet. I don't really like to take too much time in these workshops. It's a weekend, so I want to be conscious about their time as well. So I think this was good.
Okay.
Maybe,
Is there any? Yes.
yeah, maybe what I would say is, the next time around, sometimes what we do, like with our full stack web development, we actually help them do a hello world, to get them, to do something. And we've done that in the past, and I think students like it. maybe that's something that we could, try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't like the Eclipse demo, the preview?
No, it was good. No. I'm saying that in addition to that,
Okay.
but I'm so glad you touched on microservices because, that's something that, people need to know. And it's a skill that I think everybody's asking right now. It's very much in demand. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, that's all I wanted really.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. How's your job search going?
I have a interview next week, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
But other than that, it's still the same.
Okay. Has it gotten better? I know that we kind of, piled on too many things, I think, and I think it just overwhelmed you.
I'm not easily overwhelmed. Like I said, I give 100% where it needs to be, and paying my bills and take care of my family is where it's at right now. But I have a lot of respect for you and your mission, so I'd love coming out here on these weekends and doing this. This is cool.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate it, Razi. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. And I did talk to Abdi very briefly. I know that he lost his mom and he's in a pretty bad shape. Yeah.
Yeah, I finally got in contact with him a couple of days ago, and I was devastated myself. I actually, I told him if he needed anything, he can call me, and I told him that, we can code till our fingers fall off just to keep his mind off things. And
Yeah.
he's in a
Yeah.
better place now, but it's going to take some time, of course.
It's going to take a lot of time, and I think yeah. So yeah, I did tell him that if he needed any help or anything to reach out as well. So
That's good.
so there are some jobs. In fact, I sent him one of the job thing. Maybe I should send it over to you as well. You could apply for it. Yeah, I'll send it your way.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, Razi.
No problem, Yasmin. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.